Well, we made it. After completing our men's bracket, we finally got our women's bracket an hour later. And now we're going to fill it out. This is my one and only bracket, just like my one and only men's bracket. But guess what? I'm about to make like 24 or 25 of these just off the camera because, I'm going to get a perfect bracket this year. Whether it's men's, women's, or both, I'm getting one perfect bracket this year. I promise. Watch the first game. I'll kill all my brackets. UCLA. You're moving on. Richmond, Georgia Tech. I want the Richmond Spiders here. Ball State versus Ole Miss. Could be an upset there. Baylor, Grand Canyon, Baylor. Baylor's just historically good. Florida State, George Mason. Interesting. I'm rocking with George Mason here. LSU, San Diego State, LSU. Michigan State or Harvard. Mm, mm. Michigan State. NC State over Vermont, NC State, LSU. I'm taking NC State over LSU because honestly, NC State, I think they got a lot of good players. There's this one sister on the team. Yo, she's for real. I need to make sure I get her name right. And yo, you need to watch what she does to LSU and throughout this tournament. NC State women's team. Yes, it's Sanaya Rivers. I just wanted to make sure I got it right. Yeah, Sanaya Rivers. Yeah, she's gonna be making a play for the Final Four MVP and the women's tournament MVP. That is if they could get past UCLA, who they will face. UCLA is gonna knock off Richmond, Ole Miss, and Baylor. I'm gonna take Baylor, and I'm gonna rock with UCLA here. And UCLA, NC State. I don't think NC State has a great answer for Lauren Betts. UCLA, top to bottom, is also a very good basketball team, and I struggle picking NC State over them, so I'm going to have to take UCLA here, the number one overall seed. Rightfully so. That team is for real. Then we're going to Birmingham. South Carolina is going to beat Tennessee Tech. Utah versus Indiana. I like in Utah here because Indiana's been upset prone of late. Alabama over Green Bay. Maryland, Norfolk State. I like Maryland. Maryland's going to beat Alabama. South Carolina over there. Then we scroll down. West Virginia versus Columbia or Washington. Go upset here. I don't know who it's going to be they play, but it's going to be an upset. North Carolina is going to beat Oregon State. Vanderbilt, Oregon. Mm-hmm. Let's go Vanderbilt. And then we're going to take Duke. Then Duke's going to beat Vanderbilt. And then North Carolina, Duke in the second round. I mean, Sweet 16, my fault. North Carolina, Duke. Obviously, Duke should be favored to win this, rightfully so. But I'm gonna take Duke. I can't not take Duke there. South Carolina versus Duke. I'm taking Duke over South Carolina. The injury to Ashlyn Watkins, that's going to be major here. And that is why I have Duke pulling off an upset, even though they're the 2 seed. It's going to be an upset to the media's eyes, and Duke is going to win that game and go to the Final Four. Texas, you're moving on. Oh, we're in another Birmingham bracket. Illinois versus Creighton. Illinois. Tennessee, South Tennessee's going to win that. Ohio State, Montana State. I like Montana State. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it. Then Princeton versus Iowa State or Michigan. Go Michigan. We're going to go Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been struggling of late, but I got a lot of faith in Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo. They got Citron too. This team is really good top to bottom. I don't know what has happened to them. Obviously, it all stems from their defense, but you know what? When it comes down to it, I think Notre Dame's going to lock in. Notre Dame's a matchup nightmare at so many positions that it's like I kind of have to pick them here and just to make a deep run because I got a lot of confidence in Hannah Hidalgo and in Olivia Miles. And you got two players you're highly confident in. You know what's going to happen. Notre Dame. Oh, wait, we just did Nebraska, Louisville. Let's go with Louisville for a very obvious reason. TCU, you're moving on to face Louisville. We all know the reason. Haley Van Lift, going up against her original team, not her technically former team too. I want to take Louisville to pull off the upset and knock out TCU here. Louisville's going to get the redemption on Haley Van Lith. Now, Louisville might just lose to Nebraska because I said this, but that's the storyline I want to see the most. And then I'm going to take Notre Dame over Michigan. I'm going to take Tennessee over Montana State, Texas over Illinois. And then we got our Elite Eight set. This is the Elite Eight, right? No. Our Sweet 16 in the second Birmingham region. Texas versus Tennessee. Tennessee with the upset. You heard it here first, folks. Tennessee is going to upset Texas in the Sweet 16 on the women's side. Then we got Notre Dame taking down Louisville and Notre Dame taking down Tennessee for the trip to the Final Four. And who's going to fill out this Final Four? Is it going to be USC, who is the 1 seed that's going to beat UNC Greensboro? Is it going to be California or Mississippi State over here? I'm take California. Kansas State or Fairfield? Kansas State. Kentucky or Liberty, Kentucky. Iowa or Mary. As you can see, I'm a Kentucky fan. Just so you know. I don't go to college there, but I am a college student that is a big time fan of Kentucky. Iowa or Murray State? Murray State. Not doubting Iowa. I just feel like Murray State's the answer here. Oklahoma is going to take down Florida Gulf Coast. Oklahoma State versus South Dakota State. I like Oklahoma State here. Actually, not South Dakota State. And then UConn's obviously going to go there. UConn's going to beat South Dakota State. They're also going to beat the winner of Murray State and Oklahoma. The winner of this will actually be Murray State, picking another upset here. I've learned a valuable lesson. I mentioned it in my prior video today. Do not underestimate the power of the bullshit in March. All right. In order to get a perfect bracket, you do have to have a little bullshit in your video and your prediction, I meant to say. All right. I want to predict this bracket right. So in every bracket I make, I'm going to have a little bullshit. Do I think Murray State's going to knock off Iowa and Oklahoma? No. But do I see it being a possibility? Yes. So I have to make that selection in order to get a perfect bracket. Since, again, I am going to get a perfect bracket on one or both sides this year. I feel like I'm the first person to do it. Got to have some faith, right? Kentucky over Kansas State. I like Kentucky, and then USC is going to win there. All right. Our final four of this side in the Spokane region, number 2. USC versus Kentucky, Murray State versus UConn. UConn's obviously going to beat Murray State, and then they're going to play either USC or Kentucky. This is going to be a good game. I think Kentucky's got a lot better chance than people might think on paper or just off their knowledge of USC. USC has the best player in the country in Juju Watkins. Kiki is also very good. I'm not going to disrespect her by trying to pronounce her last name since I'm horrible at pronouncing things, but that sister is very good at basketball as well. That's a great duo. But Kentucky, they do have a great coach. They have a great point guard. They have a great defensive team, and they do have great schemes. So I'm not going to sit here and say that USC is going to cakewalk over Kentucky because I do see a world where Kentucky upsets them. Kentucky could make it to the Final Four, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I want to see Juju versus Page, and that's what I'm going to put. And USC is also a better team, top to bottom. And yeah, and here we have it. USC versus UConn. Does the legend of Juju Watkins, is this her year to win the national title? Because I'll tell you right now, if she makes it through here, she has a good shot. Only problem is UCLA is right there, who they just lost to. USC versus UConn. Paige Buckets, Azzi Fudd, and Sarah Strong. That's a big three with a probably the greatest coach in women's college basketball history, maybe even college basketball history, if you want to get to the logistics about it. This UConn Huskies team is going to go to the Final Four after they take down Juju Watkins and Southern California. I wish it would just say USC there, since now my brain is confuzzled and. But yeah, UConn, you are my fourth team in the Final Four here. Unlike the men's side, where I had you going home first round. Your Final Four for the women's 2025 Final Four in Tampa Bay is going to be UCLA, UConn, Duke, and Notre Dame. UCLA and UConn is going to be it's going to be a great game. I don't know if UConn has an answer for UCLA's big and Lauren Betts, but I do know UConn has three of the most determined players I've seen in a while. Paige Buckets is determined to stamp herself in the UConn history books. Azzi Fudd, she's determined to do the same thing. These two are finally healthy and finally both playing in an NCAA tournament together. These two together are not going home. They're going to the national championship. And with Sarah Strong, UConn is going to take down UCLA and advance to the national championship game. And a very hard fought game, but when it comes down to it, I trust UConn more than I trust UCLA right now. And UCLA is a great team. Then we go to the other side of the bracket. Duke versus Notre Dame. Duke honestly might be the better team top to bottom. Probably are. But these are two ACC opponents. Is Notre Dame? I'm pretty sure Notre Dame's ACC. I'm thinking football, like how they're independently. Notre Dame's ACC. I'm bugging. Notre Dame Duke battle that comes down to defense and who you trust more with the ball in your hand. Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles, as I touched on earlier, are a dynamic duo and they have great complementary pieces around them. They will beat Duke and face UConn in the national championship game this season. And we will have a national championship game of UConn versus Notre Dame to determine who wins the 2025 national championship. Yeah, UConn, Notre Dame. If any defense is going to slow down Paige and Azzi Fudd and Sarah Strong all simultaneously, it's going to be the Notre Dame defense, even though they've struggled. They got the best perimeter defenders to combat them. Unfortunately for Notre Dame, they're not going to be able to slow down UConn. And UConn, led by Paige Buckets and Azzi Fudd and Sarah Strong, with the head coach that is probably going to cement himself as the greatest coach in women's college basketball and even men's college basketball, and Geno Auriemma, are going to win it all as UConn takes home the 2025 Women's College National Championship for basketball. There you have it, folks. What's the final score going to be? It's scripted in my brain. It's 85-79. UConn is your national champion. If you want to see my men's bracket, it's going to be on the screen. And if you want to see any of my NBA content, that's also on the screen since I do primarily make NBA content. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe because it does help me out a lot. And it makes doing all these videos worth the while as it is difficult to produce a lot of videos. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed though. Comment down below who you got winning it all. Obviously, I'm probably not going to get a perfect bracket, but if I doubt myself, I'm going to not get the perfect bracket. And I do have confidence in myself. So this right here, you just saw a perfect bracket being created. But yeah, y'all stay safe. Have a good one. Bye.